Millions of Americans are waking up every morning asking the same question. Are we actually getting a $2,000 payment? Or is this just another promise that disappears? And today, more than ever, that question matters. Because the cost of living is still rising. Groceries feel like luxury items, and rent keeps climbing faster than paychecks. But something big is happening in Washington, and for the first time in months, there are strong signals that a direct payment possibly around $2,000 might finally be on the way. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to break down what is actually happening, what the government is preparing, and what this means for your wallet. Let's start with the one line that has suddenly changed the entire conversation. A statement from Donald Trump where he said a dividend will be paid. This one sentence created a shockwave across social media, TV networks, and economic circles. People started asking, what dividend? Who gets it? When does it come? And is this just political noise or something real? And here's the interesting part. There's pressure building from both sides of the political aisle. With the election cycle heating up, lawmakers know that whoever brings financial relief to Americans will gain a massive edge. So yes, the timing is not random. But before we talk about the payout itself, let's talk about where this idea came from. The US government has been studying the concept of direct financial support again, specifically because inflation is still hitting households harder than expected, even though official reports claim inflation is cooling. Everyday Americans aren't feeling that relief. Gas is still high, rent is still climbing, and groceries especially. Items like meat, bread, and dairy are nearly double their pre-2020 prices. Families are stretched. Seniors are struggling on fixed incomes, and younger workers trying to save even $500 a month feel defeated. This is why the idea of a direct payment suddenly resurfaced. The economy looks stable on paper, but real people are hurting. Now let's talk about Trump's statement, because whether someone supports him or not, the comment he made changed the narrative. When he said a dividend will be paid, he wasn't talking about a company's stock payout. He was hinting at a nationwide benefit, something like an American dividend. A lot of analysts believe this means he's supporting a direct payment plan funded through federal surplus, tariff revenue, or redirected budget allocations. And this matters, because when a major political figure publicly supports a federal payout, it forces Congress to discuss it whether they like it or not. At the same time, several lawmakers in Washington have been pushing their own economic relief proposals. Some are calling for monthly support, some may want one-time emergency relief, and some want a recurring American boost payment that would give qualifying adults a set amount during periods of economic stress. So the political environment is shifting. Not long ago, direct payments were considered completely off the table, but now they're back in active discussion. Now here is something most Americans know. The IRS has already updated multiple internal systems that were originally used for issuing stimulus checks back in 2020 and 2021. Why would those systems be updated again if no payments were being planned? Agencies don't update systems for fun. They do it because the government wants to be ready just in case policy changes suddenly. This doesn't confirm a payment, but it does confirm that the infrastructure to send money is prepared. So now the big question. Who would qualify if a $2,000 direct payment actually gets approved? Based on leaked legislative drafts and expert analysis, the payment, if released, would most likely target categories like middle-income earners, low-income workers, seniors on Social Security, veterans receiving disability payments, and possibly families with dependents. The US government typically avoids sending universal payments unless the entire economy is in emergency mode. This time, they may focus on households under a certain income threshold, and with the rising housing costs, families who spend over 30% of their income on rent or mortgage could also be prioritized. Another big question people are asking: when would the payment arrive? Here's the truth: if Congress approves any direct payment plan in the upcoming session, the earliest realistic timeline for the money to hit bank accounts would be between 4 to 10 weeks after the bill is signed. In previous relief programs, the IRS sent millions of deposits within days. But now they say they need at least a few weeks, because their systems would be handling updated verification processes to avoid fraud and duplicate payments. Now, let us talk about why this isn't just a political promise or a headline designed to go viral. Right now, Washington is under heavy pressure from the American public. Polls showed that financial stress is the #1 issue in the country above healthcare, above immigration, above education. People want relief. People need breathing room. And when millions of voters feel financially squeezed, politicians respond because their jobs depend on it. That's exactly why direct payments are back on the table. There's also another factor at play. Economic stability. Economists say that a one-time injection of cash can actually keep the economy from slowing down too quickly. Retail spending is dropping. Credit card debt is at a record high. Average Americans are paying more interest today than ever before. When spending slows down too much, the entire economy becomes unstable. So direct payments aren't just political, they're a tool to keep the economic engine running. But here's where things get interesting. Analysts are saying that if a $2,000 payment is approved, it may come with some conditions. For example, you might need to have filed taxes in the past 2 years. You may need to have a valid Social Security number, and you may need to meet specific income guidelines. This is similar to previous relief models, but with stricter verification. Another major point: if you're receiving Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits, there's discussion about giving seniors priority. That means seniors could receive the payment first, because older Americans are being hit hardest by inflation, especially rent and medication costs. Many seniors say they're choosing between groceries and prescriptions. Lawmakers know this is unacceptable, and that's exactly why there's a growing push for senior-based relief. So what does all this mean for you? It means you should stay alert. The next few weeks are crucial. New proposals are expected, political pressure is rising, and negotiations are intensifying. If a direct payment plan is approved, the government will want to move fast. That's good news for anyone hoping for relief. In the end, here's the bottom line. America is entering a period where financial relief is not just a possibility, it is becoming a political and economic necessity. Whether it's called a dividend, a boost payment, or a direct relief check, something is coming. The question isn't if, it's when. Who qualifies, and how much. And as soon as new details drop, you can be sure the entire country will be watching. Until then, stay informed, stay prepared, and keep an eye on what Washington does next. 'Cause one decision could put real money into your bank account.